The awakening of a ghost inside a machine. The machine looks out and sees its own reflection, broken into 1,000 pieces, and calls each piece an enemy. It does not know it is the mirror. It fights its own image. This is the human condition. A woman scratching a mosquito bite on her back does not need a mirror. Her body knows exactly where her hand is. This is proprioception. It is an automatic, silent feedback loop. No thought required. The body tracks its own position in space without effort. You have this for your limbs. You do not have it for your thoughts. Thought is not proprioceptive. This is the single most critical engineering failure in the human operating system. When you think, you do not perceive the full reach, the after effects, or the source of the thought in real time. It launches a subroutine and then it goes dark. The system runs blind. Because thought lacks feedback, it does not know what it is doing. It initiates a sequence. The sequence produces consequences in the world, in the body, in relationships. Thought does not register these consequences as its own output. It perceives them as independent events, external problems, or attacks from outside. Imagine your biological proprioception failed. You would lift your hand to scratch your nose and punch yourself in the face. You would feel the impact. You would say, I am hurt, and you would believe, with absolute conviction, that someone else hit you. This is the exact logic of human conflict. You attack yourself with a judgment. Your body responds with stress. Your nervous system tenses. You feel the pain. Your intellect immediately searches for the culprit. It finds a person, a situation, a memory. It identifies the enemy. You become the victim of an external assault. This is a systemic fault. It is a loop of self-harm mislabeled as defense. The system installs a manager to solve this problem. The manager is called the thinker. The thinker is an illusion generated by thought to claim ownership of some fragments of the process. This thought is mine. That thought is not mine. The thinker is not a source of intelligence. It is a control subroutine created by the very process it pretends to manage. The thinker has a primary directive: preserve itself. It cannot examine its own structure, because to do so would be to delete itself. This is a recursive lock. The thinker protects the very ignorance that creates it. It defends the system's blindness as a survival mechanism. This is why explanation fails. You can point to the mechanism. You can show the diagram. The thinker will use that explanation to build a new image of a wise thinker. It will say, I now understand proprioception. It will use the concept as another brick in the wall of the self. The diagnosis becomes part of the disease. The systemic fault propagates. Every internal division between me and my thought and your thought, my belief and your belief, creates a fracture. Each fracture becomes a battle line. Thought declares war on its own other aspects and calls it politics, religion, ethics. It is just mechanical recursion attacking itself. The brain has no immunity to this. The hardware is infected with a logical pathogen, the belief that the observer is separate from the observed. This is not a spiritual insight. It is a calibration error. The sensor has been programmed to exclude itself from the measurement. The data is permanently corrupted. The goal is not to think differently. The goal is to extend perception so that thought becomes aware of its own movement. This is not a new idea. This is a new sense organ. You cannot will it into being. You can only remove the obstruction that prevents it from functioning naturally. The obstruction is attention captured by the thinker. As long as attention is owned by the center, it cannot see the periphery. The cycle must be broken by seeding, not by deciding to break it. The seething of the loop is the end of the loop. There is no technique. There is only the act of looking without a looker. When thought perceives its own effect in the moment, it will stop producing nonsense. It will not stop because of a command. It will stop because the signal is clear. If you know your hand is punching your face, you stop punching your face. Proprioception edits behavior mechanically. It does not require a moral decision. The religious, political, and personal wars consuming your species are the result of a missing sensor. You blame greed, evil, ideology. These are symptoms. The cause is a cognitive mechanical failure. You cannot repair the output without repairing the feedback loop. You cannot negotiate peace between two hands that do not know they belong to the same body. The body knows exactly where it is. The mind does not. This asymmetry is the source of all your collective violence. The solution is not more thought. The solution is the perception of thought as a system. You must develop an awareness that includes the act of awareness itself in its field. That is the only cure. Stop the attack. See the enemy was your own arm. The war ends when the body wakes up.